It all began on a routine flight across the country. The hum of the engines filled the cabin as passengers settled into their seats. In first class, among the travelers, sat none other than Snoop Dogg, the legendary rapper, entrepreneur, and cultural icon. Known for his laid-back demeanor and affable personality, Snoop had attracted some glances of recognition but otherwise kept to himself, reclining in his seat with his signature calm. As the flight progressed, however, the atmosphere in first class began to shift. A pilot, off-duty but dressed in uniform, had taken a seat near the front of the section. He exuded an air of self-importance, loudly engaging with the cabin crew and throwing sidelong glances at Snoop. Initially, the rapper paid little attention, focusing on his headphones and the movie playing on the seatback screen. But soon, the pilot's behavior became impossible to ignore. What started as passive-aggressive mutterings grew louder, filled with pointed remarks about entitled celebrities and how money can't buy respect. While these comments could have been aimed at anyone, it became clear to those nearby that Snoop was the intended target. Passengers exchanged uneasy looks, unsure how to react. Then came the moment that stunned everyone. The pilot, emboldened by a few too many complimentary drinks, stood up and approached Snoop directly. His tone was laced with hostility as he launched into a tirade, making overtly racist remarks and questioning Snoop's presence in first class. The cabin fell silent, the weight of the tension pressing down like a storm about to break. Snoop, however, remained unfazed. He removed his headphones and regarded the pilot with a calm but piercing gaze. "You finished?" he asked, his voice steady and composed. The pilot, perhaps expecting an explosive reaction, seemed momentarily thrown off but doubled down, spewing more insults. And then, Snoop did something no one expected. Instead of engaging in a shouting match or reacting with anger, he stood up slowly, towering over the pilot. With a disarming smile, he said, "You must be having a bad day, my brother. I don't know what's got you acting like this, but hate ain't the cure for whatever's hurting you." The words hung in the air, their impact immediate. The pilot stammered, caught off guard by Snoop's grace under pressure. Meanwhile, other passengers began voicing their disapproval of the pilot's behavior. One woman called for the flight attendants, who quickly intervened and escorted the pilot back to his seat. But the story didn't end there. The airline crew, mortified by the incident, informed the captain, who made the decision to contact ground control. Upon landing, the off-duty pilot was met by airline officials and escorted off the plane for questioning. Snoop, ever the gentleman, declined to press charges but made a quiet request to speak with the crew and airline management. As the news of the incident spread, the internet exploded with reactions. Videos recorded by passengers quickly went viral, showcasing not only the pilot's shameful behavior but also Snoop's remarkable composure. Social media erupted in praise for the rapper, with hashtags like #RespectSnoop and #LoveOverHate trending worldwide. In the days that followed, the airline issued a public apology to Snoop and all the passengers on board, promising a full investigation and additional training for their employees to prevent such incidents in the future. The pilot, whose name was not disclosed, was placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation. Snoop himself took to social media to address the situation. In a short video, he thanked his fans for their support and reminded everyone of the importance of staying cool under pressure. "Hate can't win if we don't let it," he said with his signature grin, earning millions of likes and shares within hours. For many, the incident was a stark reminder of the challenges that even beloved public figures like Snoop Dogg face, but it was also a testament to the power of grace and kindness in the face of adversity, a lesson that resonated far beyond the confines of that first-class cabin. The days following the incident became a whirlwind of media attention and public discourse. Snoop's handling of the situation sparked conversations about racism, professionalism, and the power of nonviolent responses. News outlets across the globe picked up the story, interviewing passengers who had witnessed the confrontation. Each retelling seemed to further magnify the respect for Snoop's poise, while casting a glaring spotlight on the pilot's disgraceful behavior. One passenger's account particularly struck a chord. A young man seated nearby recounted how he had always looked up to Snoop as a role model but had never imagined witnessing such a powerful example of strength and humility in person. It wasn't just what he said, the man shared in a TV interview. It was how he said it. Calm, collected, and with this sense of dignity that made everyone in the room feel smaller for not stepping in sooner. He didn't just shut down the hate, he turned it into something that could teach us all. Meanwhile, the airline faced mounting pressure to address the situation transparently. Advocacy groups and prominent voices in the entertainment industry called for systemic changes, demanding zero tolerance for discrimination of any kind. The airline announced sweeping measures, including mandatory bias training for all employees and the creation of an independent committee to review incidents of misconduct. Snoop, true to his character, used his platform to amplify the broader conversation. He partnered with civil rights organizations and launched a campaign called FlyRight, aimed at promoting equality and respect in the airline industry and beyond. The initiative encouraged passengers to report any form of discrimination they experienced or witnessed and pledged to support victims in seeking justice. The movement quickly gained momentum. Celebrities and public figures joined in, sharing their own travel experiences and advocating for change. Hashtags like #FlyRight and #StandWithSnoop became rallying cries on social media, uniting people from all walks of life. Stories began surfacing of other instances where passengers had faced bias or mistreatment, shedding light on a pervasive issue that had often gone unnoticed or unaddressed. As for the pilot, his career took a dramatic turn. After the airline's internal investigation, it was revealed that this wasn't the first time he had exhibited problematic behavior. He was swiftly terminated, and his pilot's license was called into question. Public opinion about him was harsh, and while some debated whether he deserved a second chance, the overwhelming consensus was that accountability was long overdue. Despite the controversy, Snoop remained remarkably gracious. In interviews, he expressed hope that the pilot would reflect on his actions and grow from the experience. "Everybody's got a chance to change," he said during a guest appearance on a popular talk show. "I'm not here to cancel anybody. I just want folks to learn and do better." In a surprising twist, the former pilot eventually reached out to Snoop privately, seeking forgiveness. The details of their conversation were never made public, but Snoop hinted at it during a podcast appearance. "Let's just say, it's never too late to set the record straight," he said with a knowing smile. The incident left an indelible mark on everyone involved. For Snoop, it was another chapter in a life filled with lessons about resilience and using his influence for good. For the passengers on that flight, it was a moment they would never forget, a first-hand glimpse of what it means to lead by example, even under the harshest scrutiny. And for the world watching, it was a powerful reminder that in the face of hate, dignity and compassion can create a ripple effect far more profound than anger ever could. Months passed, but the impact of the incident continued to ripple outward. Snoop's FlyRight campaign evolved into a broader movement, expanding its reach beyond the airline industry. Partnering with advocacy groups, he helped create a global initiative aimed at fostering inclusivity and understanding across workplaces, public spaces, and social institutions. Workshops, seminars, and online modules were developed to educate individuals about bias, cultural sensitivity, and effective conflict resolution. The movement gained corporate sponsors, with several airlines publicly endorsing FlyRight and implementing its principles into their training programs. Snoop's ability to connect with diverse audiences made him a compelling figurehead for the cause. He appeared in public service announcements, blending his signature humor with poignant messages about respect and unity. "Let's keep it real," he said in one widely shared PSA. "Ain't nobody got time for hate at 30,000 feet or anywhere else." Meanwhile, the pilot's story took an unexpected turn. After losing his job and facing public backlash, he disappeared from the spotlight. Rumors swirled about his struggles, with some reports suggesting he had sought counseling and begun attending diversity training sessions. Months later, he resurfaced with a public apology. In a heartfelt video, he acknowledged his behavior, expressing regret and a commitment to personal growth. "I've spent a lot of time reflecting, he said in the video. "What I said and did that day was wrong. No excuses. I want to thank SnoopDogg for responding with grace instead of anger. He taught me more in those few minutes than I've learned in a lifetime." The apology was met with a mix of skepticism and cautious optimism. While some felt his words were overdue, others viewed them as a necessary step toward redemption. Snoop, true to his word about second chances, responded publicly. In an Instagram post, he shared the pilot's video with a simple caption, "Respect starts with accountability. Keep growing, my man." The post garnered millions of likes and sparked renewed conversations about forgiveness and change. The incident's legacy was perhaps most visible in the stories it inspired. Across social media, people began sharing their own encounters with discrimination and how they had found ways to confront it with courage and empathy. Schools incorporated the FlyRight principles into their curriculums, teaching students how to navigate conflict with understanding and respect. Community groups held events celebrating diversity, often featuring Snoop as a guest speaker or virtual participant. Snoop, as always, stayed grounded. Despite the accolades and media attention, he remained focused on the music, philanthropy, and family life that defined him. Yet, whenever asked about the incident, he would smile and shake his head. "Man, I didn't do anything special," he often said. "I just stayed true to who I am." That's all any of us can do. But for those who had witnessed the events firsthand, and the countless others who followed the story from afar, it was clear that Snoop had done something extraordinary. He had turned a moment of ugliness into an opportunity for growth, proving that even in the face of hate, dignity and love could shine brighter. And as the movement he sparked continued to grow, it became a lasting testament to his belief in the power of unity, one small act of kindness at a time. As the years rolled on, the legacy of that fateful flight remained a touchstone in discussions about racism, resilience, and leadership. SnoopDogg's FlyRight campaign became a global organization, with chapters in cities around the world working to dismantle bias and foster inclusive communities. Schools, businesses, and civic groups proudly displayed the FlyRight logo, a symbol of their commitment to fairness and equality. Snoop himself transitioned into a role that few had anticipated. While he remained a cultural icon and continued to release chart-topping music, he also became a sought-after speaker and advocate for social justice. Universities invited him to speak at graduations, emphasizing his message of perseverance and compassion. "Your success is measured not by how high you climb, but by how many you lift on your way up," he told one graduating class. His words met with thunderous applause. The pilot, on the other hand, embarked on a journey of transformation. Through therapy and education, he began volunteering with organizations dedicated to bridging racial divides. In time, he became a vocal advocate for change, sharing his story as a cautionary tale about the dangers of ignorance and unchecked prejudice. To many, his redemption was a testament to the power of accountability and the possibility of growth. In a surprising twist, he even collaborated with the FlyRight campaign, appearing alongside Snoop at an event where they spoke candidly about their shared history and the lessons it held. The two men's public reconciliation was a watershed moment, watched by millions. In an unscripted and heartfelt exchange, they demonstrated the transformative power of dialogue. "This ain't about me and him," Snoop said, gesturing toward the pilot. "This is about all of us learning to do better for ourselves, for each other, for the next generation." Over time, the story of the flight became a cultural parable, referenced in classrooms and sermons, podcasts and books. It inspired a wave of creative works, from films to songs to novels, each exploring its themes of conflict, redemption, and unity. Snoop's own autobiography, FlyRight, Lessons in Life and Legacy, became a bestseller, offering readers a deeper look at the experiences that had shaped him into a beacon of wisdom and resilience. On the 10th anniversary of the incident, a documentary was released titled High Altitude, The Flight That Changed Everything. Featuring interviews with passengers, the flight crew, and Snoop himself, it offered a comprehensive look at the events and their aftermath. Critics praised it as a profound exploration of humanity's capacity for both harm and healing. By then, Snoop had become an elder statesman of not just hip-hop but of a broader cultural movement. His efforts had helped reshape how the world viewed leadership, proving that strength lay not in dominance but in humility and kindness. The incident, once a fleeting moment of tension at 30,000 feet, had become a symbol of enduring hope and possibility. As Snoop often said, reflecting on the journey that began in that first-class cabin, sometimes life puts you in a situation you didn't ask for, just to see what you'll do with it. Me? I chose love. And I hope everyone out there chooses the same. And for many, that choice, modeled so powerfully by Snoop Dogg, continued to make all the difference.